Howdy folks, Acesup here for Poker Nerve, grinding away. Back after a couple of days off. Chilled out for a couple of days, and I gotta say, after 3 coffees today so far, the brain is still, well, not as refined as I would like it to be on decisions, but we battle on nonetheless. Still with a significant edge over the DayWalkers, thankfully. Online poker. Super soft, super juicy. I think I will call the 8-10 bottom left in this satellite. Then we'll call the Queen 8 as well. This is a really tricky spot. I might try a donk lead. I very rarely do this, but I might try it. It's actually a pretty good card to continue on. I mean, he'll have ace-king, maybe a stubborn king-queen some of the time. But I do look like I have a flush when I donk. It'd be pretty annoying if he's got like ace-jack with a heart and just decides to stuff it, which would be good play. Unfortunately, it hasn't paid off. And that is, my friends, why I rarely take this line. Having said that, I mean, it's a really tricky stack depth to work with. And I would do that sometimes with 9s. Just because they're so shallow, they need protection, especially like 9-8, stuff like that with a low card. Yeah, I don't normally donk, but it's like, I feel like we have decent equity in the pot, and at the same time, I don't want to check call, right? Check calling is pretty ugly. Like, he bets 1,000, and I don't really want to check raise, because we almost price ourselves in. I mean, if he bets like 1,000 and we make it like 2,700, I mean, wow, that's like a third of our stack, and I mean, we've got a gut shot to, well, there's a flush draw, but a gut shot to virtually the nuts, and I mean, if our pair outs were live as well, and he just thought we were full of shit and he was jamming ace-queen, we're actually supposed to call off. So I don't really like those spots where maybe you're supposed to call off. Like if he's 3-betting a 2-bet on the flop really wide because he just thinks we're full of shit. Like, it's pretty dangerous territory where we may actually be making like a super error where not only do we check raise and then fold, but we actually, and waste chips that way, but we're actually supposed to call. So it's just like a double whammy. The check raise that didn't work, but then you were supposed to call. So you made the extra mistake. So to avoid that, I don't really like... I mean, I try and refrain from getting in those tricky spots where decisions are likely to be... where decisions might be really bad, where you could make a really bad decision, I think. So you compare that to if we had a hand like if we had a bricky no equity hand, I don't mind it as much because we can just fold if he jams because we've got no equity. But when you've got like that sort of teetering around the right equity, that's when it gets a little bit tricky. It's a bit annoying here. I mean, we have the flush draw top pair. I do think he's going to have some sort of... This guy seems like he wants to mix it up a bit. Jam Jack 8 suited on Ace King 2 when you check raise from big blind versus on the button after he limp pre. Sick imagination and sick donk. So I got to fold though on this board, I think. But I guess we're going to have a few better hands to play with in that spot. A funny comment though. So I think it's fair to say that he might have a bit of imagination there. I've got Ace King here in the big 11. I think I'm just going to get it in now. I just called flop. I just don't think if he's got a big heart, he's going to fold. And if he's got an ace, he's not going to fold. He snap folds, so he's probably just barreling with air. Which obviously makes me kind of want to wish I'd had just called, but at the same time, I think it's too bad. Because his calling range is going to be pretty wide. So let's break, guys. Going to move around, get a bit of exercise. Already been playing for quite a few hours. I'll leave the stream running and I'll be right back. I've got this lazy boy, this leg rest that I've been using for a while now. It's almost like I feel like I'm almost lying down. My legs are just spread out. Chair's comfy. It's pretty good, but sometimes I wonder if it's healthy to be sitting like this for long periods of time, but hey. I mean, what if you're a construction worker? There's going to be some work hazards, right? Work hazards for being a poker player. Most jobs have got work hazards. Even one of my favorite jobs, being a Grand Prix racing car driver. You got work hazards. Well, those cars are pretty safe though these days with the technology they use. Okay, let's try and get it done. We're down on the session. After I strung like 5 winning sessions in a row, I think it was 5 sessions in a row we won. Yeah, so see if we can keep that up. I'm just going to jam the 8s, obviously. It doesn't look like we have fold equity, but wow, he's gone 3x with aces. I wonder if he just does that as like a balance, like he's going to 3x most of his hands. So he's just like, I'll do it with aces as well. I wonder if he's sinking like that. Because I had him marked in that yellowy color, so it's not like he's a fish or anything, and not like he's a scared fish, unless I've just got him mismarked as possible. Just surprised you with 3x aces in that spot. Might be reading too much into it. Maybe just standard 3x's for some reason in that spot. I guess I will check raise the ace jack here. I think it's a reasonable spot for it. It might take a couple of barrels to get him off like queens and tens and stuff, but I don't know. It depends on his thinking. I mean, we're big blind, he's UTG, so we look pretty nutty when we do it. Excuse me, we've got pretty good blockers. We block ace king, king jack. I don't think he's going to re-raise much because we look so nutty. And so we're going to get to turn a lot, and if we pick up a heart, ace or jack, we'd probably pick up a lot of equity, especially a heart, which will give us the nut flush draw, so as well as another card to barrel on. So I think it's fine. I mean, I don't want to check call in that spot. It feels a bit dirty. I mean, we could just check call and hope that he checks back turn and then we get to bluff river, maybe fold out small pairs or ace queen, but I don't know, that just gives him a whole bunch of free cards and we're just at the mercy of whatever he wants to do to us. If he wants to try and value bet us in, or if he wants to try and bluff us, or it's going to be a real guessing game. So, I mean, if I was, say, you know, if it was against button, I might check call, you know, because his range is much wider. So we have the best hand more often. But in that spot, you know, I think there's a lot of medium strength hands and pairs and stuff that he might raise UTG with that are going to have a tough time against a couple of barrels. I mean, any hand other than aces or, you know, any hand worse than ace king is in a tough spot. Maybe king queen. Let's say king queen. Any hand worse than king queen is going to be in a tough spot. So that's, I mean, a big part of his range is worse than that. Normally when these guys raise UTG. Yeah, just sort of check calling out of position and then just betting river, pretending like we've, you know, controlling the pot with a king. It's not too bad, but I think it works better against a good player. They're more likely to think that you've got that, especially if you check call on like king 8-4 or whatever it was. I mean, they're going to think you've got like king x or 8x, maybe a flush draw. they're a little bit more likely to give you credit if you check call the flop. Check turn bet river. They're not really going to expect you to turn an 8 into a bluff, so they're going to probably think you're value betting pretty heavily, especially if a heart comes in. We do block a lot of heart combos that he could have with the ace of hearts from UTG. I mean, he has to have like queen 10, jack queen, maybe 9, 10 of hearts, stuff like that. It's not that many combos. Whereas if we don't have the ace, maybe he could have like ace deuce plus of hearts that he might raise with. I think I'm just going to shove the sixes here. This is kind of a weird spot where we've got like an M7 limp button and then an M4 complete small blinds. So they're so short, just shove. It is only a $12 tournament, so I expect to see all sorts of madness. We are 1 of 54 in that, and top. Seems like I'm chip leader so often in these tournaments early on, and then, well, at least today especially, and then must have been chip leader in like 10 different tournaments, and then just hitting a wall and just losing all my all-ins. Hopefully it doesn't happen again this time. Well, this is only a small tournament, but yeah, top 27, 53 left, so we're getting there slowly. I'm going to call here with a 3-5. This guy's only got 1.5 big blinds. He's got it. You got it, sir. Still alive. Bring in the big 82. So 7 of 17 top left. And there's 4 entries. So no, we got a chance here. 14th gets $1.50. Wow, that's about an ice cream. 1 ice cream for 15th. 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a button. Pretty close. Guess I will check raise it. Well, yeah, let's do it. It's pretty close. It's kind of hard for him to defend on this board. 7, 8, 9. I think I will barrel this card. I mean, if he's got like ace 6, it's pretty hard for him to continue. He's got like king 7. He might just make a, I wouldn't say big fold, but the fact that he just snapped on the flop makes me think that he's not that strong. We do get a fold there, so that's good. He just kind of snapped it really angrily, you know? One of those angry snaps, like, oh, how dare you raise me, sir? How dare you? This is disgusting. He's probably just got like ace queen, you know? And he's just angry about the fact that we check raised him. Some players get emotional, as we see. And he is Australian. Australians are a pretty emotional bunch. Speaking with a lot of experience there. The Australians and the Brazilians, they seem to hate the check raise. They take it personally. Your famille and Shaolin Temple. I think I will just call. Well, I kind of want to fold. I don't know why. I mean, it should just be a call, but it is a call. I mean, I felt like it's value betting, but yeah, anyway. I don't know what happened down here. I think I'm just gonna call. Yeah, gut shots galore. It's like you find yourself at river with a medium strength hand and you can't remember exactly what happened. But you're like, well, I'm still in the hand, so he couldn't have played it that hard, and there wasn't a lot of draws. Although we did block a few of them with the 10, but it just didn't look right, did it? Plus, I don't think it's the sort of board where he's going to pot control an ace on the turn or have that many aces. I think he's just bet it. I don't know. It's my opinion about it. I could be wrong. He might control. I think I'll just check call here with the flush draw. It's going to turn our hand a little bit face up, but... Well, I mean, he could have ace high, I guess, as well. I'd do this in his mind. Ace high, maybe some king high hands. Wow, he's bet pretty big here. We've still got about 30% equity. So I think I will call here. Oh, I just remembered, I think this guy's good. think this guy might be good. Yeah, it's 6 is nice play. I think we're getting like, yeah, debatably the right price. I mean, if he's good, maybe he's not good. Let's have a look. I feel like he's good for some reason. I feel like I should know that name. Play poker. His name is one Don Corleone, the big crime boss himself. Yeah, Crusher. I thought so. I think I know that guy. I think that's that guy we played against recently on. Wow. On 888. On PokerStars. Buffy Slayer 1. English guy who crushes. You can see his form here is to also crush. He's up 50k, ability 92. That's a pretty sweet graph. Pew! Just going up. And high ROI. Oh, super high, really. Super high. Super speed. And I really like the way he played that hand. Nice hard turn bet. I just think with the overs and the flush draw as well, it's a little bit hard to fold. Still a tiny % chance as well that we have there. Wow, he just donks turn. I guess I'm going to fold. We have the best hand. It's not impossible. A little bit unlikely, but once in a while he could be bluffing with worse hearts or diamonds. He was only on the button. Although if he does do that, he's probably going to barrel river, which is going to put us in a bit of a tricky spot when we don't hit. I think I will ISO this. You know what? I might just call actually. I mean, Jack Queen flop's pretty good. The alternative to just calling is, I don't even think raising is that good. I mean, I think the players just shove or limp behind. I don't really mind limping behind that much. Here's Don Corleone again. I think I will just shove him with the 10s. And 9, 10, 11. I think I'm just going to shove the 7s here. It's a little bit of a chance this Twixy guy is trapping, but, you know, in a $12 tournament, I'm just going to presume he's being a fish. He's got like King Jack, King 10, maybe deuces. I was going to say deuces, and then they popped up. There they are. I'm actually going to call here, which is kind of weird. I mean, well, am I? Actually, maybe I'm not. I tell a lie, I'm not. It's a little bit too much. I mean, I guess they can have like Ace Queen, Ace Jack, King Queen, King Jacks a little bit too much. We could be dominated a little bit too much. My first thought is like we probably have pretty good equity here. I wonder if I should be not minning here. I wonder if I should be raising more than min in the bubble or just shoving. I feel like maybe that's a mistake actually. Maybe minning is okay actually, but maybe shoving is better than minning. I don't want to get shoved on by the big blind. He's M9. If he shoves, we have to fold so much of our range that we open with. It seems like it'd be pretty easily exploitable. Although, having said that, like, I'm probably not going to raise complete bananas there and put pressure on, I guess, or would I? Maybe I would, actually. Depends on how short this Tilela guy is, who apparently is an alien. I will fire on that card, I think. Try and fold out some small pairs, 6, 7. You could have some ace-x though, but we do have a gut shot to the nuts. So just to answer that question, this Tilela guy can actually wait and maybe get like $16.50, which, you know, doesn't sound like much, but psychologically, when you're like, well, I can actually make money from this tournament, or I can fold and just make money from this tournament and last another orbit, or I can just jam now, like, I think it will have a little bit of an effect, that bubble factor. But he might be just the sort of guy that says, hell with it, I'm just going to go for the top 4 and go for an entry and not give a shit about this mini bubble. I have seen him around a little bit. I recognize that image, the alien, so I don't know if that's really him. Probably not. I don't think he has any sort of higher intelligence going on. At least from the time that I've played with him. If anything, it seems like lower intelligence. Maybe it's like a backwards species. Maybe he's just like the runt of the bunch. That's why they put him on Earth. Like, oh, this guy's a dud. Put him on Earth with the Earthlings. They're all duds as well. And they just like dropped him off. See you later, buddy. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I think I will jam the Jack Queen. Slightly profitable. Is there any reason not to? Can anyone think of any reason not to jam this hand? Don't think so. I mean, yes, they're going to call a little bit wider because it's a bounty. But, you know, we do have Jack Queen, so if they're going to call wider, it's not necessarily the end of the world. Let's see if we can win a flip. All right. Popped up like a daisy. Popped up like a unicorn. I don't know how that works, actually. I don't think unicorns have a tendency to pop up, but I'm just always say popped up like a daisy. I was trying to come up with something new. For some reason, unicorn popped out. Seemed unlikely. So, yeah, 6 of 15. I might just bring that lobby in and put it right, I don't know, here. And I'll just swap it in and out with the big 82, just because it is kind of, it is clutch time. It is clutch time, baby. Such a gross spot to raise and get called by everyone here. I think I'm going to fold. We do block a few draws they might have that they would continue with, like 4-5 and 2-4-4-7 if the blind's calling that wide. We don't have a spade. I think it's kind of close. Happy once it goes bet call that I chose to check. I mean, we will have the best hand on the flop a little bit, but I think between the chances of one of them having like some sort of gut shot they want to call with, or flush draw, or just a 10 or a 6. I mean, if I am betting, I'm sort of betting to try and turn our hand into a bluff, really. You know, I might like bet, flop, and then if they call, and then it turns like a king or an ace, you know, I'd probably just barrel. Maybe a queen as well. Maybe any high card, actually, but... Interesting, damn it. Damn you people. We cannot run good in those 27 turbs. Bring that big 82 back in. We're 32 of 57. So 4 of 15 here. Just going to keep it pretty standard. Just assert some ICM pressure. Especially if I think the players are decent and not just big donks that are just going to call with anything. Because obviously that's going to affect our own ICM. This guy might just be tanking so he gets paid. It's possible. I think I will 3-bet here. I think I will go for it. You know, it's not a spot that I'm particularly fond of these days. They call so often. But at the same time, I mean, it's just so hard to get a hand as good as Jack 9. That is not really a board that should have hit him too hard. Wow. He's just got a lot of ace high when he calls. Maybe some traps. I think I'm just going to shove. Nice. Yeah, I didn't want to shove that. I just didn't have enough time to think of a raise size properly, so I shoved it. But, yeah. I would have just raised it like 3x or something. Would have been a better play. I mean, I don't hate shoving it, but I think it's just going to be a little bit more profitable to 3x it. No, just to 3-bet it. He's going to call with some hands we dominate. Sometimes he'll 4-bet light. You know, he might 4-bet shove like ace-9 suited, or might call with it and we flop an ace. Just a chance that good things happen. Flip side of that is that at M10, when you 3-bet and they call, you get a pretty nasty SPR to work with. And so, yes, definitely going to shove the king 10. Going to call with the 8s in the biggie. Come on, biggie. Put down an 8. 8. That's all right. Thought if I get greedy, you know, they might actually let me just fade the ace. If you ask for the ace, the 8, rather. So we're 21 on 51 in the big 82 and 26 get paid. So we're on target. Stay on target. Stay on target. I have turned off my targeting computer. I'm not using a HUD. I am just using the force. Well, I mean, not really that much force required with online tournaments, is there? I mean, you could have about as many midichlorians as like Jar Jar Binks and still win. Basically, we're playing against a whole bunch of Jar Jar Binkses, really, aren't we? That's actually, that's how I'm going to think of my opponents from now on, is the Jar Jar Binks. That's actually pretty appropriate, I think. That's pretty much what we're up against, is just a whole bunch of Jar Jar Binkses. Actually pretty fitting. Had some epic donks today. Had one guy just flat with kings to trap, and then, you know, this is standard, and just call like 3 massive value bets on ace, jack, 10, 5, 2. Just decided that once he has kings, he's never folding it. Even though there's just like the worst board ever with ace, jack, 10, and I raised early position. He's just like decided. I had ace, 10, 2 pair. He's just decided, like, I'm not folding kings. You know, it's a big pair. It doesn't matter what comes post flop. Just all that good stuff, you know. Guys just jamming it in with no equity, literally drawing dead. And I mean, actually, I'll just show you this hand here. This is funny, actually. I should have. This hand's a hand from a moment ago. That's just what I'm talking about, you know. He's got the 7 deuce off suited. 7 deuce suited he's got. He's going to have himself a little picket flop here with the 7 deuce. Oh, he's flopped himself, you know. Bottom pair. He's loving life. He's like fist pumping. I have a pair. And we bet he calls. And look at the little Dewey on the turn. Look at that little Dewey. Naturally check raising. Bang. Snaps it off thinking, I've got 2 pair. I've got 2 pair. Oh, I was drawing 2 outs. Pretty standard. Well played. Well done. Don't tell your girlfriend about that one. She's not going to be impressed. She might disown you. Say, I don't know that guy. 7 deuce guy? I don't know him. I think I just shoved the threes here. We've only got M8. He's probably opening really wide from the smalls. Could have the best hand, a lot of fold equity. Best hand. Still the best hand. Can we fade? Oh my lord, deuce. Oh, we couldn't. There was too many fades. Too many cards to fade. A spade, a 10, a 7, a 9, an 8, an ace. Wow. That's like a lot of fading to do, isn't it? Ah, folded, I guess. It's kind of annoying, actually. We would have had a pretty good stack to work with in that. Let's bring in another 82. Actually, I might bring in the hot 27. It's a little bit more fast and furious. Or as they call it in Japan here, wild speed. That is actually the name of the Fast and the Furious in Japan. They call it wild speed. Wild speed. They do that a lot, actually, change the name to something that kind of makes sense to them. Because everybody knows what speed means. Even the non-English speakers here. And then wild, I guess, you know, crazy, wild, they kind of get what it's implying. Whereas Fast and Furious is a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit harder to grasp, I think. I guess I just shove ace king. It could be isolating a little bit wide. Ace queen, ace jack, just putting in a little 3-bet, trying to take initiative. And he does indeed fold. I think calling is actually pretty good there as well, though. Calling is kind of trappy with ace king there. Sort of almost 10 calling. Probably dominate a lot of his range that does that. Especially with a suited hand. Actually don't mind a call there. It's a little bit risky when we get like the jack 9-5 flop. What do we do on the jack 9-5 flop when we just call, you know? It's a little bit nasty because he's going to have like, you know, king 10 or king queen, like king 10 of hearts, or just like king queen, and he's just going to probably, as they normally do, he's probably going to feel compelled to fire a c-bet, and then we're just like, man, why didn't we just jam this pre and keep it simple? You can't win. But wow. Sorry guys, hang on. With this interesting hand here where we've got the nuts. But yeah, I don't mind calling now. I mean, we need to get some chips. We only have M10. I think this guy's just not folding. I think we just shove. Try and get his bounty. Try and get all the monies. It looks like we're trying to just ISO to get the bounty too. He's just got queen 10. He's just got a pair. You're out of control, buddy. Out of control, sir. Wow, this is a 6-spot top left. But we're going to take it. We're going to take it. Oh, with the flip, please. Oh, yes. Come on. I mean, he could have ace jack or ace queen there. If he's got a pair, it's not. Well, I mean, it's not the best situation to be in a flip right now. We were sort of, what were we, like 5 of 14 or whatever, but I mean, we are gunning for like top 4, so we are now 3rd with a decent cushion as well, the stack that we have, so decent chance now. I mean, we just have to go for it. I mean, the reason why I'm saying it's not that great to be in a flip right now is 50% of the time we're just going to bust 14th. Excuse me. And that's just not great at this point. Because we're so close. So close and yet so far. This is one of those raises off a short stack where it should be very, very nutty. But it's only a $7 tournament, so I'm just going to be like, maybe he just does it with like ace 9 or king jack. Maybe he actually folds sometimes. It just doesn't understand stack size. And if he does just have a hand, I mean, we just try and get his bounty. But raising off an M4 stack, 4.5, 5, maybe actually 14, what is it? 18. Yeah, actually M5. He does just fold. Especially in a bounty, you know, I mean, in a knockout, it's just silly. You're just going to get isolated too, like we just did so often. Yeah, it just can't be good. Notice now he does just shove, which is what he should be doing when he enters the pot. Although having said that, I mean, he was 13 bigs, which is around 13 or 14 bigs, which is kind of the minimum. I think that, I mean, most pros work off 13 bigs as, you know, the minimum of raising. But I mean, that's situational. I mean, obviously, if you've got pretty tight players behind, you might raise fold on ace deuce or something off, you know, 14 bigs, 13 bigs, or certain situations where you might go for a steal with just trash because your opponents are tight. That sort of thing. You might just, I mean, you could raise potentially, I mean, in some instances you might raise any two in that spot, I guess. It doesn't have to be an ace deuce or something with a blocker. Just depends on the situation your opponent's behind, obviously, but just as a general theme, players don't raise below 13 bigs with hands they intend to fold. You'd be safe presuming that. Like if they raise off like 9 bigs and it's a reg, you'd be pretty safe to presume that it's, you know, like kings. Because it's just not going to be a raise fold. Very, very rarely. Just flat for 8k and maybe one of these guys spazzes out. You know, now he's in the pot. I think we can just jack 4. This guy's got m4. I guess we can just shove it. I'm just going to bet here and try and get that other guy to call. Somehow this guy hits his miracle. Oh, this is an interesting hand. I think I'm actually going to 3x here. It's just to try to prevent this guy from, you know, doing anything. Even just playing, you know. Go back to minning now. 18. Yeah. Wow, interesting spot. He flats. He's a big stack. He flats from the small blind. I don't think he's going to be doing it too wide. I mean, well, he has got 3 stars showing in some scary image. And he is from Australia, so actually it's probably a massive donk. But I'm going to check. It's a pretty bad card, actually. He's going to have like a lot of jack queen and king queen here, I think. But he does check, so he might have like ace 10. I'm kind of feeling ace 10-ish at the moment. Hopefully we get a check here. Wi-Fi is small. How often did you fire this size on a bluff is the question. Does he just have like 10 jack or 9-10? Feels like he's got jack queen, king queen. I guess he could have ace 7 if he's a big enough donk. Maybe he's got a similar hand. I don't think we can quite fold. I'm just going to call. Yeah, ace 7. So annoying. Just calls out of the small blind with ace 7 in the bubble. What a champion. Just so bad. Scary, scary bad. Ace 7 off. With the massive stack, he's coming like 1. He just wants to play pots with ace 7 off out of position. Like, what's going through his head? Yeah, I don't need to play a hand from here and I can get a seat. Man, I got ace 7 off. I'm out of position. I'm going to see a little flop here. Wow, it feels like this guy might have aces. Let's find out. Queens. Club? Yeah, well, king. I mean, king will do. I think I'm just going to shove this guy. I mean, the SPR is already close to 1, and we've got a very good hand to shove with. We've got a gut shot nut flush draw with an over. Well, wow, we have top pair. And now we have a flush. Like, can we get any greedier? I'm just trying to get everything. I mean, I wanted to get a straight as well as a flush, but we did have a lot of outs, but it's getting a little bit greedy. So we have popped up like a unicorn, and we're 6 of 37. We have popped up like a wild turkey. That's what we've popped up like, a wild turkey. An angry turkey. We have got, well, I mean, we've got a big stack. We've got M20. Yeah, I don't like this. It's a call there. Am I really going to raise here again? I think I might. Yeah, I think I can actually raise fold, to be honest, even if the short stack jams. I guess I'm just going to fire here. I was worried that might happen. Just going to call this little half SBR guy if he jams. Wow, we can actually probably call now and try and make the nuts. Especially since this guy's short and, I mean, it is a knockout. Might just actually bet here. Might look even stronger than actually jamming. What do you think? It does? Are we just flats? I bet you he's got like Jack 8. I think he's got Jack 8. Maybe 8-5. He's got something like that. It's something ugly, I bet you. It's something ugly. It's definitely... we can't fold. He checks again. Maybe he's got like pocket fours. It's so funny he's checking. He's got like one... He doesn't even have a big blind left. I'm going to say he's got one big blind, but he doesn't even have that. So funny if he folded now, and he can't, surely. Maybe he's got a 4. He's got like 4-5. He's going to save his big blind for a rainy day. He hasn't got 8. Don't do that. Oh, that's pretty bad. We did have a 10, I guess, a jack or an ace. What? Did we have a jack? No, that gives him a straight, right? We didn't even have that. That's funny. It's funny. It's just funny the way the hand went down, and he's like tanking and stuff. It just made it hilarious. With his one big blind, and then he gets bad beat on the river. Oh boy, oh boy. Classic stuff. That's a bounty builder too. We got a little bounty for that, right? Nice. What about that? I felt like that 8 was bad. I just felt like it was going to be all around that 8, especially the way he's just check calling. I think I'm just going to fold the 3-5. I think it's kind of close, but just because it's a knockout. Wow, hot 27, we got kings, and we just get 3-bet by Supernova guy. Wow, do we defend with ace-5? Guess we have to, getting this price. And then just proceed carefully. I don't think the big stack is going to go well. No, actually the big stacks do go mental. They just want to play every hand they can. They don't care that it's a... They're playing like first. They're playing like it's a freeze out. First is worth the most. They're just playing to win. I think I will fold though, out of position with that hand on that board. I guess I'm just going to re-raise here. Well, it does look pretty nutty. Maybe I'll just flat. Just check call flop. Might think we're trapping, but you know, if it comes like a jack or an 8 and he's got like jack queen or ace, you know, maybe he's got like ace jack with a club or something, like he might shove some turns. So I mean, if he's got clubs, I mean, it's going to get us anyway, but that might give him a card he wants to barrel on. That's not the best card. So now we have a decision to make on the river. He did check turn pretty fast, so I don't know. Well, he's gone pretty large here. I mean, I don't feel like he has pocket 7s when he does this, or a full house. I mean, this is not impossible, but I feel like we might actually have to call here because he's kind of repping the ace or king of clubs. Just because they snap check turn and then bet pretty kind of juicy on the river. I mean, it's a bit annoying, but yeah, jack queen. We got max value out of that. That is the Tony G. Yeah, we got good value out of that. I mean, we had to just, if we just 4-bet pre, you know, he just folds, but by calling, and then making good decisions post, which is obviously what it's all about. That's really the separator between like us and other regs that, well, you know, more ABC regs that are just going to 4-bet or just shove the flop or and that sort of thing. You know, check shove flop or just get in pre. We can just extract more value that way. Play hands are more, optimally get more value out of them. And that, like we're saying, you know, the clubs were a good opportunity for him to 32-40 try and represent. And when we also factored in that sort of timing tell that he checked turn pretty fast, you know, it kind of looked like at that point he'd given up. But then all of a sudden, you know, he gets the perfect card to fire on. It's pretty hard for him to resist. Not surprisingly, he didn't. I felt like his bet sizing too was like just the size like I would expect him to bet as a bluff. Like just enough to get us to fold, but not so much that it kind of looks obvious he's trying to get us to fold. I guess I just keep betting against this guy. Oh wow, we just got 3-bet by the big stack here, and it's a small size. Wow, I guess I'm just gonna call. Wow, this is the situation I was just talking about before. Might actually overbet here. Just hope that he doesn't have 4-5. If he has 4-5 or like pocket threes, I'm just, oh my god. Do you really, sir? Pocket 2, oh my god. We flopped a set. We flopped a set! This guy has kings. Well, we just have to try and get value now, I guess, so I'm just going to bet it. Such a weird hand, this one, like, such a small 3-bet pre. I think he's got jacks, and he's like, no, I'm not folding. Oh my god, he's got king 9. I think we have to give him a lol. No chat, can't even give him a lol. So I just played pocket 9s like Puss in Boots would. But I'll tell you the reason why I did that. I mean, why is he doing small 3-bets with king 9 out of position, you know? Just, these guys are just so loopy, you know? Like, he doesn't have to play a hand. I mean, how dumb are they? Seriously, though. How stupid are people? Like, he's sitting there with like 100k. Like, he literally does not have to play a hand and he just gets a seat. But no, he wants to small 3-bet king 9 suited against the other big stacks, out of position. Like, I don't mean to be mean, but like, how dumb can you be? It just makes no sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. He could literally just fold his way to victory. And instead, he's small 3-betting king 9 suited out of position against the big stacks. Like, it's almost like they're just trying to play as bad as possible. You know, they're like programmed robots, and they flick the switch opposite. Like, you're going to go out and hit the felt. You're going to play as bad as, you're going to just do everything that you're not supposed to do. Okay. Just so bad. How long is it going to last? Online poker. You just print money. How long will the printing money last? That's a question. It's already lasted like 10 years. I reckon we'll get another 10 years. The way we're going, I mean, it hasn't improved in the last... I don't think it's improved at all. This is the same donkey stuff I saw when I was playing in 2006. Online. Same. Going back to what I was saying about the 9s. This was a funny hand. I mean... yeah, I mean... this has to be aces or kings, right? I've got him marked as a reg. Yeah, he's decent. Well, yeah, he seems like a decent player. Right. He seems like a decent player. Probably should have flooded bottom right, but anyway, I'll finish this story about the 9s. I mean, look at him. He's raised off 10 bigs. He's got like M4, and he's raised from second. I mean, if that's not aces, then, you know, my middle name is not Acesup. Sorry. It has to be aces. Thankfully, we get this very friendly flop where we can just fold. If it had been like an 8-6-2 flop, I would have been like, oh my god, I mean, how sure am I? Don't give me that sort of decision, because I think, to be honest, like, I'm literally set mining. If the flop was like 8 high, I would actually just check fold. I really would. If he's a fish, I never would. But because he's a reg, seems decent. Yeah, I think we can just actually just fold it. This is a weird spot. How short is the short guy? Might actually play a little bit tight there. Because these guys are kind of playing like it's a freeze out, trying to like raise a lot and bust each other like fish. So I might just tighten up a little bit. Because it is the exact bubble. And this guy's literally raising every hand and trying to donk around. So, and this guy's just shoving like M30 or whatever it is. Imagine we had like, I don't know, imagine you had like queens there. It'd be kind of an annoying spot, but I don't think you'd be able to fold it. But ICM would be pretty huge at that point. Or I guess I'll just shove here. Come on, ace king. Nice. We're back. We've popped up like a wild turkey. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Sounds like an owl outside my window. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting strategy. If it was, I could really go two ways at this point. If they were a little bit tight, I mean, I'd probably just up the ante and just raise relentlessly, but I don't feel like we need to be doing that at all against these guys. They seem quite fishy. I think there's a pretty good chance they're going to, either bust each other or one of them might just make huge spew, which will leave, he'll end up with a short stack and then just have to. I mean, look at them. I mean, they're just like literally playing hard every hand. And defending and barreling and donking. I think I'm just going to continue with the strategy of kind of playing tight. Limping in on the button. Not double clutching like they should. Interesting, this guy just checks. I think with this hand, I guess I'm just going to kind of give up, I guess. I might fire, like if it checks to the river, I might fire small in the river, I guess. Try and fold out sometimes when he's just giving up with like king highs. Maybe like he's got ace two of spades and just doesn't like that board. I mean, we're going to be, that's pretty down in our range in terms of defending against a delayed c-bet. We at least had like a diamond or a pair or something going on. I guess I'll just do the standard sort of check back middle pair here. Probably bet turn now. We might get value out of a 10 or a king or a 9. Certainly don't mind if he folds now. Notice now that he does jam off a short stack, and this time it's pretty close. I think I'm going to fold. He's only M3 though. Wow, he's only M3. Wow, that's really close. I'm gonna fold. Could be a mistake. Well, they say he has a PN of 24, and he needed a PN of 15. Normally, I say if I have like double the PN, then folding is not an option. But that time we didn't. I think it's not too bad. You can see that the donk now, the Greek donk, is down to 28k. So, and this guy is just kind of, I mean, I haven't been keeping up exactly with the action, but I think I will raise this one. 630. I think I just shoved this one. And let's go for an isolation here. It's a pretty good spot, I guess, to raise. Sevens, we might get jammed on. Although, maybe not, because it is bubble. 10 queen, damn you, and your 10 queen. Okay, so we pick up flush draw. And I think we're going to continue. Probably small like we would normally see bet on this board. I'm just thinking this guy does this raise. I'm going to go for multiple streets here, I think. I just want to work out what this means here. I think this guy's kind of aggressive. He's 3-bet a couple times before, but at the same time, I'm not really relishing jamming. Well, 12, 13, I'm 13. I guess we could, but he's 3-bet with short stacks there. It is the bubble, though. Maybe he just thinks we're abusing in the bubble. I think I might just take the safe play here and just call because it's a bubble. He's probably hoping that's what we do, though. Well, what are we getting odds-wise? Yeah, probably getting about the right price. I don't mind just ripping it, though, as well. I don't know, I mean... He hasn't got that much of a bigger stack than us. This kind of feels handish, but at the same time, he seems kind of aggressive, this guy. I think in the limited sample I've had with him, it could just be a small sample when he's just had hands, but I feel like this is a spot where an aggressive player would definitely go overboard to apply pressure. But I feel like it's a spot where a less standard player wouldn't because they don't have many more chips than us. And they're 3-betting and committing to the short stacks behind, even though they're not going to get all in very often. I mean, it just seems like it's a bit of a deterrent. I am just going to fold now, I guess. I don't really want to call and have an SPR of 1 on the turn and, you know, potentially a difficult decision. And if there's a high card or a diamond, I mean, we're probably giving up. Well, I mean, there's just so many bad turn cards. Even if our equity is good on the flop, which it probably is. I mean, our equity is probably pretty good on the flop, but in terms of actually realizing our equity by the river, I think we're not in a very good spot there. So, kind of played it like a bit of a wuss, but I'm just going to go with my read that he had a hand and he wasn't getting too mental. Yeah, that was my read. Could be completely wrong, you know, he might just have ace-5 and just decide to put on pressure in the bubble, but yeah, which makes set mining questionable a little bit because sometimes we'll hit and we won't get paid, you know, because he'll slow down. Like he'll just c-bet and give up. But at the same time, you know, if he does flop decent equity, it would be pretty hard for him to give up because the SPR's already won after he c-bets. So I think our strategy, you know, top left, just playing tight like we said we were, is, I mean, is working out okay. I'm gonna make... Well, I guess I'm gonna call one here. I was gonna say kind of a loose call, but I just think he c-bets on that board all the time. I just think it's like a king high board, dry board like that. I think it's like 100% c-bet. So I'm just sort of hoping that he does the auto c-bet and then slows down on any turn, which he has. But having said that, we've got the big blind in as well. Doesn't really, for some reason, feel like the big blind has a king. It feels more like he's got like ace-4, 4-5, 5-6, ace-3, 3-5. But he could have a king. I don't think there's any point to betting. Like, I don't think we're folding enough better hands. Like ace-jack or jack-queen's probably calling if they turn that. Like, if this guy had c-bet with jack-queen, I think he still calls. Obviously, this guy could still have a king. He's snap checking so fast, though. Yeah, it seemed like he had a 3. So that was a good one. Worked out pretty well. Didn't feel like he had a king, just the way sort of, I don't know, overcalled snap check turn, then he snap checked river. I think if you've got a king in that spot, you're probably going to think on the river and maybe value bet. I would be surprised if he didn't. So it definitely looked very 3x-ish since he's in the big blind. Or like I said, like 4-5, maybe sometimes 5-6 called on the guts, and obviously you would most like bet that most of the time since it would be the nuts on the river. I guess sometimes it might get tricky, but 5-minute break, peeps. Lovely level, lots of fun, few laughs, bit of strategy, good times. Join me again after the break. This has been Acesup for Poker Nerve.